In order to pass, you have to run 15 minutes and 20 trainees are gonna come out here and do the old PT test, and they're gonna do the new one with the options. We're gonna figure out which one is the harder test. Oh yeah, so I got some merch you guys can see. This is for everybody who's calling us Chair Force. Today, we're gonna take that chair and make it our big.
This is voluntary, you guys don't have to do it. That's cool.
All of these airmen are volunteering to take this test. As they prepare to take the test, I'm gonna go over the standards for this test so they know how to pass. We're going for 100, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys get ahead, run in the restroom. Have position.
They have to break 90 degrees for their push-ups in order for them to count, and they're trying to max out. So it's gonna take about 67 push-ups for them to get the maximum score. Out of all the airmen doing the push-ups, I'll say about half of them actually got the maximum push-ups.
Any hundreds? Anybody max it out? What's the max score?
67 for 18 to 25.
Alright, who did more than 67?
Now we're moving on to the sit-ups. In order for these sit-ups to count, they have to come up and have their elbows touch some part of their thigh. There is no resting position for sit-ups. You have to continuously go. And just like with the push-ups, these airmen are trying to max out. So in order for them to max out, they're gonna have to do about 58 sit-ups to get that maximum score. They're doing pretty well. I would say that out of all the airmen that I had, I would say about 95% of them met the maximum score of 58 sit-ups.
And time. Better recover. Alright, so now that's 10 minutes. So go ahead and stretch before we start the run.
So far, they're crushing it. This is an easy test for them. And now we're gonna go on to the mile-and-a-half run. So we had to give them a 10-minute break in between the sit-ups for them to get ready for their run. But just like for the push-ups and sit-ups, they're trying to max out. So in order for them to max out, they have to run a mile-and-a-half in less than 9 minutes and 12 seconds. Let's see who gets it done. In order to pass, you have to run 15 minutes and 50 seconds. You are considered high risk. That is high risk.
6 laps, mile and a half, right?
Yeah.
Alright, you guys can keep your own times too if you want. Alright?
From the poplar trees.
Ready and
From the poplar trees.
Now these are some really in shape airmen, and they are giving it their all. Lap 1 through 3 is when you're trying to find your pace, you're trying to find your breathing techniques, and you get that stabilized. But at about lap 4 or 5, this run starts wearing on your mentals, and you have to stay strong mentally to be able to maintain that pace and make it to the finish line. So overall, for the original Air Force PT test, we had 2 people max it out with 100. Now we're moving on to day 2, and we're gonna start doing the new PT test with the new options to see how much harder or how much easier it is compared to the original PT test. You're gonna have 2 different core workouts. So the first one, the plank, is super easy. So with the new PT test, I'm introducing new workouts to these guys. They've never seen these workouts before, so I have to explain to them how to do them first. You also have the cross leg reverse crunch. So you're gonna take your hands, you're gonna put them like this on your chest, bring them up, come down, come up, come down. That's a cross leg reverse crunch. And then you have your hand release push-ups. Will come down, put your hands out to the side like that, come back up, lock out, come down, hands to the side. All right, so yeah, we're gonna start with the hand release push-ups. So everybody's gonna get down into the starting position. After showing them the proper form for the workouts, we went into the hand release push-ups. They only have to do 40 hand release push-ups to max out. This is a 2-minute workout. Each one of the airmen went the entire 2 minutes, and each one of them did more than 40 push-ups. They all agreed that the hand release push-ups are harder, but to max out, they only have to do 40, so they thought that that was easier than maxing out for the regular push-ups of doing 67. Hey, who did a lot of push-ups yesterday? How many did you do yesterday?
75.
75? So 75 push-ups.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, were the hand release push-ups harder or were the ones from yesterday harder?
These are probably a little bit harder. You just feel it more in a smaller muscle group, so you feel it more in your front delt. And the regular push-ups yesterday, you feel it more in your front delt and trap and a little bit in your back. So.
Anybody else? What's your opinion?
78.
78?
78.
And in your opinion, what would you say, which push-ups would you say were harder?
The hand release push-ups.
The hand release push-ups? By show of hands, who feels like the push-ups from yesterday were easier?
Yeah. What's the max for the push-up?
40.
For the hand release?
40.
I do think that it's easier to max.
So doing 40 is easier than doing the 67?
Correct. Yeah. 100%.
So doing the max, you guys did it for the entire 2-minute duration. But if you were just going for max and hitting 40, you feel like those would have been easier than doing the 67 from yesterday.
Right.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
We're having them do rock, paper, scissors because I'm only having one half do the cross leg reverse crunch and I'm having the other half do the plank.
All right. Plank or plank? All right. So let's start with plank.
So let's start with the reverse crunch.
And begin.
All right, so all you had to do for 18 to 25 was 49. By show of hands, who feels like these were easier? You feel like the 49 were easier?
The max out.
Maxing out? Anybody else feel like maxing out was easier?
Yeah.
So maxing out was easier. However, the workout's harder.
Correct.
Next, we're gonna do the plank. Last workout, I had him do the plank. They did start to struggle at about the 3-minute mark, but all of them completed this plank and got maximum time and maximum points with no problems. Time. All right, so same thing. By show of hands, who feels like the sit-ups from yesterday were easier? Everybody feels like the plank was easier than the sit-ups?
Yes, sir.
I don't max out the sit-ups.
So you don't max out sit-ups? So planks were easier. And we had one person say that the sit-ups from yesterday were easier?
Well, yes, sir. I think that after doing push-ups and then going into a plank, it's a little bit more difficult because of the weight bearing on the arms.
Because your arms are a little spent from the push-ups. Okay, cool. Now we're going to our final workout. It's going to be the HAMR, or the high aerobic multi-shuttle run. Every one of these airmen started out pretty strong with the high aerobics multi-shuttle run, but as the exercise continued on, it started to wear on the airmen pretty hard. They have to get to the other end before the speaker beeps at them. If they don't make it to the other end, they get 3 attempts to do it. If they fail to make it to the other end before 3 attempts, then they are done with the multi-shuttle run. You'll start to see some of them fall out because they don't make it to the other end in time.
What? You gotta make it. You got it.
Y'all got 11 more. 11 more. 10 more. Yesterday's PT test, we had 2 people out of the 20 get 100 on the PT test. After today's PT test, we had 5 people get 100 on the new PT test. And also for the average scores of the PT test, for the original PT test, we had an average score of about a 96. And for the new PT test with the options, we had an average score of about a 98.
2 more. Last one. Go. Oh. So what y'all think? Okay, so by show of hands, who felt like the mile and a half run was easier? So the max out for the mile and a half run was easier than the max out for the hammer. Who felt like the hammer was easier than to max out than the mile and a half run? I don't max out either one, so.
Okay, so that was a little bit more than half felt like the mile and a half run was easier. Some of you like the hammer. Why did you like the hammer?
I like the hammer because you get more of a pace and it's easier to max out, and you get control of your pace rather than looking at your watch and trying to catch up to that pace that you originally had.
So you have the pace right here keeping you on target, so you know what you got to meet.
Yes, sir.
Would you consider yourself a sprinter?
I would say so.
You definitely get more of a rhythm with the hammer.
You get more of a rhythm? Would you consider yourself a sprinter?
No, sir. I would consider myself more of a lone sprinter.
But you like the hammer
I did
because
like
it
the
gave
hammer.
you a pace?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who liked the mile and a half run more? All right, so why'd you like the mile and a half run?
It's just more consistent. Like once you get in that groove, you can just keep it.
Keep your heart rate going.
You're just stopping, going. I'd rather just keep going.
Right.
It may be in a circle, but I'd rather keep going.
I personally felt like on the mile and a half run, I could get my breathing under control a lot easier.
Yeah,
For the people running the hammer, were you able to control your breathing?
I think the breath was easy to control up to like around 80.
And then
Level 80, it started getting hard.
Yeah.
And about 90, it's when you just, you're almost there, so you just finish it.
you just get it.
Now
Yeah.
you just start counting on your fingers. Once you get to 80.
So you were able to maintain good breathing up until about 80, and then about 90, you just got me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Overall, how do we feel? Do we feel like the one yesterday was easier by show of hands, or the one today? I'm talking about maxing out. By show of hands, who felt like yesterday was easier? By show of hands, who felt like today's PT test was easier to max out? All right, cool. Y'all got anything for me?
I think, especially on the sit-ups, I think there's going to be a lot of, I don't know if there's going to be like disqualifiers for
Because the form.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
that's
noticed
gonna
that.
be a
The form is going to be hard to keep
Big practice.
because it's not a workout that you just do day to day, right? Who felt that? Who felt like the form for the cross leg reverse crunch was pretty hard to get?
Honey.
Okay. So this test gives you a lot of options for your own strengths, and it's going to be coming online January, so hopefully you all figure out what you want to do for your test. Like I always say, I hope this video brought value to you. Stay beautiful, stay classy, and until next time, check me out.
Honey.